name's Renee Neblett, and I'm the founding director of Kokrobitey Institute.
And what is Kokrobitey Institute?
Kokrobitey Institute is an educational facility that's centered in the study of traditional African, in this case Ghanaian knowledge systems, and how they relate to sustainability and development, social entrepreneurship. Yeah, all things that have to do with respecting the environment and those who inhabit it. I like to think of us as a kind of incubator for ideas, testing site for seeing how we can imagine modernity through the lens of traditional knowledge systems, appropriate those systems into a more modern context.
And when was it established?
1993.
Do you have an estimate count of how many people have come and gone since then?
I would just say thousands, probably.
Yeah, and every decade there's something new. There's some kind of new technology, there's kind of new creativity. So how do you make shifts every decade?
Well, I'm not sure how we evolve around new technologies. If anything, I'm interested in traditional technologies and how to appropriate them. Industrial model, I'm not really interested in that kind of scaled model of production. I'm really looking at the kind of what values and principles were embedded in traditional systems. For example, traditionally people lived in courtyard formations, which obviously is for kind of social interface. In the tree language, I learned recently that the word for body is nipaduia, which literally translated means human tree. So it's not a mystery to me that almost every living compound was centered around a tree, and that Ghanaians knew that a tree is more than just a tree. It's a natural drainage system. It's a meeting place. It purifies the air. It's a habitat for living things. It provides shade, water, food, fuel, medicine. I'm interested in how that knowledge relates to how we do all we have to do to manage life in ways that are respectful, as I said, to those of us living in it, as well as the environment we inhabit.
So what is your opinion on those who are new to Ghana, especially after the big Year of Return campaign, and they may be thinking about getting involved somehow in Kokrobitey Institute?
I think the idea of Africans, Americans, other African people of African descent in the diaspora, especially to those of us in America where we have existed kind of like flies in a bowl of milk, as a minority that's never enjoyed any real kinship to the land or generational freedom. I think it's a good thing. I'm not a fan of this kind of dirty December, inviting people back to party. And I think those of us who come should come purposefully with some ideas about what our perspective, especially living in a rabid capitalist society where everything evolves around not just property or profit, but wealth, this idea that everybody's aspiring to be a multi-billionaire. For me, that's a completely imbalanced, ridiculous aspiration, because it requires that half the world is running around sucking water from plastic bags, while a few have this kind of unbridled access to whatever money is supposed to be. I'm much more of a fan of Nkrumah's call to the diaspora to come build a nation, and to invite the intelligentsia to critically bring their minds together to reflect, imagine, and remember so that they can develop.
So you've been around the world, but where are your roots?
Well, I'm here in Ghana. This is where I live, and this is where I hope to.
And what part of the U.S. were you born in?
I was born in Boston, in the East Coast.
Okay. Before establishing Kokrobitey Institute, when did you first come to Ghana?
I came to the continent when I was about in my 20s, and the first place I visited was Guinea.
And approximately how many African countries have you been to since?
Maybe 20, I guess.
Do you have a top 5?
I like Ghana. I live here. Ethiopia. Nigeria has its own energy. Guinea, obviously, was very interesting. It was the first place I went. And Mali, I think, because I learned a lot there.
Is it true for your 60th birthday you drove to Mali?
Yeah, it is. I bought a brand new vehicle and I drove from here to Timbuktu.
What was that like? Because most people are so afraid to do that.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was more than an adventure, you know. It was really an eye opener to see what an African civilization looked like, how Africans envision, how they lived, how they used the landscape, how they organized their social life. People always lived in proximity to their work. They had places for counsel, they had their agrarian resources, they knew food was medicine. People were resourceful, in community, just had a keen respect for the environment. I know that people go back to human tree that saw themselves as a human tree would never build cities that look like Accra or Lagos. They would have had their life and had the roads run alongside where their living activities took place. It's unfortunate that somehow, I mean, we're literally out of our minds in Africa. Colonization has really removed us, not from the symbols of the culture, but the intelligence behind those symbols. And it's the intelligence that really counts. It's not people just, okay, I can weave. What distinguishes educated people is not knowing how to do something, but knowing why they do it.
And speaking of why, you often travel a lot and are involved in fashion weeks. Why?
Kokrobitey is a hub of innovation. Watching, when I came to this village some 30 some odd years ago, it was paradise. And I've had the privilege or the misfortune of watching this verdant landscape, you know, kind of crumble under the weight of this Western model of development that's completely based on money. Okay, it has nothing to do with social well-being, environmental well-being. Those ideas are completely obscured. And to watch people who used to build with natural earth now building in cement, which is so ridiculous not to use the materials in your environment. Even Eskimos used to use ice or snow. And then to see thatched these buildings in the north, for example, you have these beautiful earth structures that anybody who's ever lived in one of those knows just how cool those places can be. Even cooler than if you're in a cement structure with fans blowing on you. And to add insult to injury, if you go north now they're putting tin roofs on cement structures, which is literally living in an oven. It's just sad to see people that are so outside of themselves that they're not even thinking critically.
In what ways does the Institute change the perspective of those from the minute they come in by the time they finish?
Well, I hope they notice some things that we value trees, that we value community, that we care about how we eat and what we eat. And as the question that I didn't really finish about fashion was that we come to fashion through the lens of sustainability. Our goal here is to demonstrate and illustrate to local people how many resources they have at their disposal and how the traditional skills and values they have equip them to really be resourceful.
And if someone wanted to be a part of the Institute, how can they do that?
Well, they just go on our website and we have a number of programs. We have residencies, we're a research institute, we have artists in residence, we have designers, we run programs. So we've tried to create a kind of broad base of activity and opportunities for those who wish to be part of an orbit of like-minded people that respect the environment and the people who inhabit it.
If they want to stay at the guest house, what are the requirements?
Normally, the requirement is that they're engaged in some project or program with us.
Okay.
Yeah.
At some point, Kwame.
Am I giving the right eye contact?
Don't mind us, guys.
Okay.
Hello, everybody.
Good.
Okay, my name is Ellen Esi-Otu, and I come from the eastern region of Ghana, and I've been working with Kokrobitey for I say 6 years. I joined in 2019. Yeah.
Okay. And what about you?
Should I follow the same pattern?
Yeah.
So I am Samuel Kicha Jr.
Yeah.
I mean, I was born on Saturday, so they call me Kwame.
Okay.
And I hail from two regions, Adan, I mean, Greater Accra region, but Adan to be specific, and also the Volta region, Sukwe to be specific. And I joined KI last year, December. And yeah, I'm here. So let's calculate the months together, 5 months. What's it? Fifth month, right?
I think it's fit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that means you like it and you want to stay.
I love my job.
Define.
It's not
It
about
looks
it's not
like
about
it.
liking to stay, but I love my job. You know, my job is just what I love. I'm not a 9 to 5 person. I love a space that allows me to be dynamic, to flow. So yeah, I'm able to enjoy different aspects, you know, of Kokrobitey Institute. So yeah, I do love my job.
So what is it that brought you here? Like, why did you choose here?
Why did I choose Kokrobitey? I met Auntie at an event. She was a panelist, and her knowledge and how she was articulate, how she was able to deliver the knowledge she's acquired over time, drew me closer to her. So I got to meet her, and we barely spoke, like just had a little conversation. We exchanged contacts, and I was working at an interior design space at the time. So I left, and within 2 months, I felt like I needed something doing. Then I contacted her, and then came for an interview. And I mean, yeah, five months on, we're here, basically.
Right. And what about you? Your story?
Okay. The fashion school I went to. So normally you have school mothers in school. They're like the moms in the school. So my school mother's friend stays in the next village from Kokrobitey. So she was like, "Oh, there's a production going on where recently we used to do batik kimonos. So that production was going on. So she asked me to come join. I came for the interview and all the things I had to do, I passed. And I joined the production team 2019. And then for me also, it was an interesting space because aside production, I saw that other things were going on. You could see the batik happening, the old bed sheets getting dropped in, and people's engagements with the fabric we were working with. For me, it was also an interesting scene for me because it's not like that in the schools. So it was my curiosity and my interest that let me stay until now.
Right. So what is your favorite part about interacting with the people?
For me, I'm a curious person. For me, I just want to know what this person is about. So getting to know anyone is my biggest interest. So yeah, I do enjoy meeting people and interacting. Absolutely, yeah.
I think for me, it's what you have to offer. I'm a gold digger. Yeah, so I mean, I don't know how you guys see that phrase or whatever it
That's
says.
so
I'm a
funny.
gold digger. You should have something. What are you bringing to the table?
Right.
So in conversations, having a dialogue, you know, engagement with people, I try to see something, try to get something, tap into something that you have that could benefit me. So that's how I would say that's what interests me, to get to know people, to communicate with them, work with them. So definitely everybody has something to offer. So that's what interests me. Yeah.
So there's been a lot of people that have come to Ghana, especially since 2019, since the year of return. So what is your opinion on that?
Year of return since 2019.
19.
You know, I used to be outside. When you say outside, you know what it means? Do you know what it means? Yeah.
But
So I
for
used
those
to,
who don't know, what is that?
yeah, so when you say we are outside, it means we are in the clubs, we are the pubs, we're just chilling. And the year of return has done so much for Ghana. You know, somebody like you coming to Ghana, you know, you bring the culture from wherever, you know, from America, from Europe, from wherever you're coming from. You bring that dynamism, that the cultural vibe, and we learn from you, you learn from us. So that exchange, there's an exchange about the year of return that makes me excited, or that for me has helped Ghana to an extent, because when you come with your knowledge, right? In a way, you shape certain things that probably we may might overlook. So then we also adjust, we work, and then it helps us to also work on our tourist sites or on tourism. How do we make this more attractive to people? Because if people are not coming, we may not have the lens to see the other aspects of it that we are supposed to work on. So then when you're coming in, you complaints and all of that helps us to make things better, to develop the country for us to make more revenues. Yeah.
Well, the year of return, I think personally, because I'm in a creative space, sometimes you miss the point that you've done so much, or you've practiced so much, or you know enough to do this and that. When people come in for workshops and all of that, it reminds me of all the skills I've learned over the years, all the developed, all the try and error I went through to get to a certain point. So I think that's mostly the interesting part I've got from the year of return. And I think also during workshops, I get to learn from people. It doesn't matter that I am the one teaching. For me, I'm very curious about the little inch someone will add to something that will elevate it. Example, the AC sweater weaving. I've always taught people how to weave it from the front. And I had one student from, I think, Uganda, and she was weaving from the back to the front. And for me also, it's another level of thinking in other people approaching the same thing. It's very, very interesting for me. And I'm just speaking on the creative side, but it comes down to the dressing, the culture, and behaviors, and just like speaking. Yeah.
And the exposure.
Absolutely.
Because I mean, you don't need to travel all the way to America to get to know what they do there. The people coming out, they just
bringing it,
embody America. You know, they embody Europe. So they just that alone helps us to also be exposed to other, things that are happening around the world and how people live.
If people want to find out more about the Institute, how can they do that?
So you have to go on our website, kokrobiteyinstitute.com. Just check. Currently we have workshops, in August coming up. And for you to just go on the website to read more about us. And it's always advisable to pay us a visit. Because I mean, what you see on the internet may move you. Yes, you will love it. But when you come here, it's the wow factor. Like wow, 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 wow. We get that a lot. So just go on the website, read about us, follow Auntie Renee. We are Woven Threads. Lagos Fashion Week, a subsidiary of Lagos Fashion Week. We showcase some of our beautiful collections there. Go on the page, see what we've done. That will also give an insight to our Wote brand. And basically just read about us. Follow us on Instagram, Kokrobitey Institute. And yeah, it will give you just a little bit of what we do and who we are. But coming here is the biggest deal.
I will always advise people to try and come here. At least if it will happen once in your lifetime, it would be very educational because everything we do here is basically from trash. And I think trash is the biggest problem for Ghana. So just for you to see day by day, small things you can do to recycle your sachet water or your plastic bottles or your old jeans and all of that, for me, just a tour here should give you enough idea that nothing is really trash. You just have to use it in a different way. So yeah, please come.
Come on, Zalins.
Come.